This episode will be dedicated to proper use of bombs, torpedoes, and rockets.
These weapons are extremely devastating, but can be tricky to use correctly.
Bombs can be used by all types of aircraft.
Torpedoes are used exclusively by torpedo bombers.
Finally, rockets can be used by fighters and attack aircraft. All this additional armament comes in different calibers and weight for bombs. The larger a rocket or a bomb, the bigger target it can destroy, such as ground installations and airfields. For smaller targets, you are better off using smaller bombs and rockets, whereas large ships are best dealt with using torpedoes. Do remember though, the bigger the weapon you take, the heavier your aircraft will get. A bomber aircraft cares little for speed and maneuverability. Attack aircraft should use all their weapons meant for ground targets first and only then engage the other aircraft in dogfighting.
Whereas fighters should seriously consider whether they should be taking bombs or rockets at all and attack ground targets, or better yet, get rid of all that extra weight for speed and climb needed in serious dogfighting.
Well, let's get on with the bombing, starting with how to attack an enemy bunker. Here, our heavy bomber carries 4 bombs half a ton each.
These are perfect for taking out heavily armored targets such as pillboxes and ships.
All our bombs are stored in the bomb bay. Every time you press the bomb key, you will drop 1 bomb. If they were mounted under your wings, then you would be dropping 2 bombs per press of a key. Dropping 2 bombs is meant to save the balance and lift the drag ratio of your aircraft. However, our game uses this technique only in the realistic mode. In the arcade mode, all bombs drop 1 per a press of a key, regardless of how and where they were mounted. Note the special crosshairs, a bomb sight indicating where the bomb will land. In fact, there are actually 2 such crosshairs, realistic and virtual. When we say bomb sight, we refer to the realistic sight.
So here we have our trusty bomb sight that helps bombers deliver their deadly cargo right on the target while staying high.
This sight is available in all game modes and can be triggered by pressing the F7 key, but only with aircraft that actually had such a device in real life.
The view from the bomb sight can be zoomed in using the Z key or your right mouse button. This will come in handy when you're dropping bombs from high altitude. Okay, we're flying at approximately 4,000 meters altitude. Our bombing approach should be planned way ahead, whereas your flight must be as level as possible. All that is required to keep a steady aim.
We also recommend dropping your engine thrust down to 70 or 50%, as your bombs will be dropping more accurately the slower you fly. Now, let's switch to our bomb sight. As soon as the bunker is in the middle of our crosshairs, press the space key. A direct hit, well, as you can see, it's not that hard at all.
Now we'll talk about the virtual sight. Here it is. It shows up as a marker on the surface.
In the arcade mode, this sight is available to all planes. In the realistic mode, it is reserved to bombers only, whereas in the simulator mode, this sight is disabled for all aircraft. The virtual sight will be visible as long as you have at least 1 bomb left. Drop your last bomb and the sight will vanish. Historically, some fighter aircraft were used in bombing runs, but not widely. However, if you are playing the arcade or the realistic mode, where the victory depends on quick destruction of enemy ground targets, why waste an opportunity to deal some extra damage? Let's try taking out an enemy heavy tank, for example. For that, we will need a fighter, the virtual sight, and 1 250 kilogram bomb. We begin our approach to target from about 1.5 kilometers.
Do not forget to cut your thrust.
As soon as the tank comes in the crosshairs, the virtual sight will turn red. It means it is time to drop that bomb. Right, on the money. Your bombs have a delay fuse option, ranging anywhere from 1 to 10 seconds. This option is handy when you're dropping bombs from low altitude, so that before the bomb goes off, you have time to get away from the blast. If you set your bombs with a couple of second delay, you can actually use those bombs against enemy fighters tailing you. These couple of seconds give you time to get away, while enemy fighters close in towards the bomb blast. But this technique, while spectacular, is tricky to do and takes a certain amount of luck to execute properly. What do you do when your target is too fast to be hit with a bomb? This is where your rockets come in. Rockets such as the Soviet RS-92 or the US-made HVARs, or otherwise called high-velocity aircraft rockets. If you armed your aircraft with rockets, you will see a rocket sight in the third-person view. It has 4 notches on it, 200, 400, 600, and finally 800 meters respectively. All these are used to aim at targets located at aforementioned distances.
Nevertheless, we highly recommend you fly in as close as possible to the target, because the lower the distance, the tighter shot grouping you will get.
To fire your rockets, press the R key if you're using your default controls. Here's a little trick for you. If you fire directly at the target, the rockets are likely to explode right around it. So aim a bit to the side of the target, left or right. This will give you a better chance of scoring a direct hit. The rockets also have a delay fuse option ranging from 200 to 1000 meters. As you have probably guessed, this option is used against aircraft, as rockets can be quite a decent weapon against flying targets as well. Let's set our rockets to explode at 600 meters and get ourselves some enemies to kill. What's that? An enemy bomber is dropping altitude? This is a grave error. We now carry 6 rockets under our wings. Let's try to shoot them down. Now we have 2 options. We can either close in with the target and barrage him up close, but such a maneuver must be executed at point-blank range. Otherwise, you won't hit the side of a barn. Or we can tail him from a distance, then aim using our rocket sight and take him out. Quite obviously, if you're flying towards your enemy, you should fire from a longer distance than your sight tells you. Our rockets might miss an incoming target. Better yet, take him on from above or below. Then, fire a couple of shots to compensate for the rocket's inherent inaccuracy. Please note that not all rockets can be set with a delay. If such an option was not existent in real rockets, then they will explode only on impact. Finally, we have our torpedoes, a necessary tool in naval warfare. These weapons are used to destroy ships and bridges. Only a specific few aircraft can use them, among them the legendary Swordfish from the British tech tree, and another flying legend, the Nakajima B5N2 from the Japanese tech tree. Let's try and sink this American ship. Torpedoes are best used in such formations, as the more ships you can sink, the better your team's standing will be in the overall battle. In order to properly drop a torpedo, fly as low as possible. Drop the thrust to a half. As soon as the torpedo can be safely dropped in the water, a straight line sight will appear in your screen. It will help you predict your torpedo's path to the target. Now, aim it at the ship. The green means that the torpedo is ready. Now, flying slow and low, we hit the space key. The torpedo drops into the water and sails towards the target. A direct hit! Most ships can be sunk with just one solid torpedo hit, but some larger vessels such as aircraft carriers or battleships might survive up to 3 such hits or even more. Always remember that torpedoes travel rather slowly in the water, so there is no sense in attacking a moving ship from afar. 400 to 500 meters is a good distance though.
If you choose to get closer, you risk being shot down to bits by the onboard AAA gunners. This concludes our tutorial on Special Ordnance.
In future tutorials, we'll talk about tactics, the squadron system, aerobatics, and more. Good luck in the skies of War Thunder.